Hey guys, welcome to the Elevate and Renovate podcast. My name is Michael Kern, the design build consultant here at LBK Design Build. Today's a special episode because we have our first official guest on the podcast, Beth Allen. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back at LBK. I just love the crew here.
Well, you may know Beth Allen from not only being the DIY queen, but she was also featured on Dr. Oz, Rachel Ray, and QVC. That's quite the accomplishment, Beth.
Yeah,
How'd you make that happen?
it's been an interesting journey. Well, for the Rachel Ray, that was an interesting. I literally went to the website and there was a tab that said, "Would you want to be on the show? What do you want to teach Rachel?" So I went online and I said, "I want to teach Rachel how to fix a toilet."
Okay.
So 3 days later, I got a phone call and they're like, "Well, we don't want to do a toilet, but what else could you teach?" And I said, "How about paint tips?" And they were like, "That'd be perfect." So 3 days later, I was on a train to New York City and I did a live segment with Rachel teaching her paint tips. And you can still find that on the internet, believe it or not.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to look it up after
Yeah.
this. Well, you're the owner of DIY Hip Chicks, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your company and kind of your initiative that you're looking to do?
Sure. I started Hip Chicks 14 years ago because I wanted to help women be stronger homeowners, help them learn how to navigate their homes and just be confident in everyday home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, there are many occasions when you're going to bring in a crew like LBK, but there's the everyday little things in home ownership that people just need to be elevated and able to do on their own. So I left my nursing career when I had small children and figured I love doing things around my house. All my friends are like, "How do you know how to do all this?" And I thought, how do you not? And that kind of prompted me to start teaching classes.
Mm-hmm.
It started with the adult evening school and that grew and other places got wind of it. The media got wind of it and it's been 14 years and now we have 5.5 million views on YouTube.
Wow. That's quite the transition from being a nurse to the construction industry.
People always ask that, Mike. And I say nursing and home ownership DIY is so similar. It's problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking a symptom, right? Your house is acting up, there's a leak or clog. It's a symptom. There's a problem. How do you diagnose this? How do you look at what is happening in that space? What are the tools I need? What is the prescription? What do I have to do to solve this?
Mm-hmm.
And when I taught patients about their health, it's the same methodology that I use in teaching homeowners about their house.
Very cool. Well, you made quite the name for yourself for empowering women in DIY, just in this space in general. What's the biggest benefit you would say that some of your friends or family members who helped DIY in the past have taken away from doing projects on their own?
I think the biggest benefit is I'm trying to help people save money, stress, and time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing I always say, money, stress, and time. Money, because if you are hiring someone to come in and, hang artwork, well, that's not a real skilled project. This is something homeowners should be able to do. Caulking a bathtub. The average rate for caulking a bathtub, you want to guess?
$300.
$250. Well, that was a year ago when I looked that up.
Inflation.
It could be 300 by now. But yeah, imagine if you have 2 or 3 showers, that's a lot of money. Yes, it takes some time, but so you can save money. You save stress because when you understand when things go wrong, whether or not it is a true emergency or, wow, I can go shut off that circuit and I can deal with that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's empowering. And then of course, time. You have that jammed garbage disposer. Well, you're going to wait 3 days for a plumber to be able to get to you to fix your garbage disposer. Yeah. And you've got a sink full of dirty dishes and all that scummy water.
Piles up and,
Right. Well, there's a reset button on the bottom and that usually solves it. So just making sure people can handle that everyday home ownership.
No, of course. And as far as projects go, obviously, is there like a line in the sand that you would draw when it comes to a type of project where, hey, this is a good starter DIY for a homeowner versus, hey, maybe this is a job for a professional?
Absolutely. I am all for the design, decorating, the small repairs, changing a fixture, changing a faucet, all those beautiful things we see on Pinterest and Instagram. the wall features, the molding projects, those light carpentry projects. That is so DIY ready. Now, of course, you need to build up some skill set to be able to do those things. But those are things that I think a lot of people can tackle on their own. When it comes to absolutely bringing in the pros, my three big things are major plumbing, major electric, and that means adding or changing out and redirecting and running new lines, and structural.
Okay.
Don't take down a wall.
So it sounds like bathroom remodels, large kitchens,
Yes.
obviously additions. Those would be a project that you'd want to lean on a professional for.
Absolutely.
Correct? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. And as far as like some hidden factors, because again, a lot of people are new to not only being a homeowner, but just to remodeling in general. What are certain things that you'd like to educate the typical homeowner on when it comes to things to keep in mind? What I mean by that is like permits, resale value.
Oh,
is there
all
anything
that.
that you kind of educate the homeowner on?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people do need to understand that there are those projects that do require a higher level of skill and knowledge. And I mean, I have experiences just from my parents' house and even my in-laws' house. When I was a kid, my parents wanted to put their china cabinet on one wall between the living room and the dining room. So they took out like a 4-foot wall. Well, it was load bearing.
Oh no.
So there it
Found
comes.
out pretty quickly.
Well, not really, but
Hopefully.
34 years later, we go to sell my parents' house, and there is an 1.5 inch drop in the floor to the baseboard up in the
It
bedroom.
happens more often than you think. I've seen it before
Yes.
as well.
So, but to sell the house, we had to bring a contractor in. He had to jack up the floor and put in a new header and do all that. So those are the kinds of things that if you don't know the code, if you don't understand actual building construction, that's priority. And those are the things that really matter. So I always tell people, if you want to tackle a project, you need to be Googling. You need to educate yourself about the project. I always say watch 3 YouTube videos at minimum and see what is consistent among each of those 3 videos. And you can often Google what is code for my area on various things, and you can find out a lot.
Yeah. And they can obviously go to your YouTube channel, correct?
Yes, there's a lot of YouTube videos there.
Very cool. So as far as like being a new homeowner, so me and my wife, we bought our house 5 years ago. And one of the things I was most excited about was buying all brand new tools for any DIY project that either I wanted to do or my wife was forcing me to do. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
What would be your professional recommendation of like, what would be a good starter tools for a first-time homeowner? What should they have in their garage or their storage?
Well, first, let me just say about like tool lines. There are contractor grade tools and there are homeowner grade tools. And if I was going to start all over, I'd probably go with the contractor grade, but I chose the homeowner grade that we can buy, at the big box store. And I'm happy with it because it has such a variety of tools that I can interchange with my batteries.
Yep.
So you have to do that assessment. You don't go and spend $400 on a tile saw if you're not going to be a professional tiler. You can buy the $150 to do your backsplash.
Right. One-time use.
Exactly.
Don't gotta break the bank.
And here's a great hack for those tools. If you want to buy the tool, but again, it's a one-time use or 2-time use, you either go on to Marketplace and you buy it used because it's gently used from somebody else, or you buy it new and then you sell it on Marketplace for like 3/4 of what you bought it for, so that you're paying a rental fee without a time limit.
Makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah. When it comes to actual tools, though, the drill. Everybody needs a drill. Have to have a drill. It's a screwdriver. It's a drill. You can use it to stir paint with the attachment. You can put a garden auger on the end of your drill and you can plant all your bulbs.
You can buy an attachment to clean your dryer vent, which I just recently done myself.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That's so important. So there's so many things you can do with a power drill. And of course you have to know how to use it. And so I'm a big fan of drill skills.
And then also just make sure you don't leave your batteries plugged in too long, right?
Yes, with the
lithium batteries.
With the lithium batteries, they're now telling us that when they're done being charged, we should take them out so they're not sitting in the stewing in the charger.
Today's episode is brought to you by LBK Design Build, where we're hosting our 3rd Ladies Brunch Seminar on October 18th from 11:30 to 1:30 with yours truly, Beth Allen. It's a great opportunity to come in, learn the do's and don'ts of DIY, when you should do it yourself versus when you should be hiring a pro. So come on in. We will be also doing a hands-on drywall repair session. It's a great networking event, so make sure you go to the LBK website, go to our event page, and make sure you reserve your spot today. Bring your power drill or feel free to use one of ours. We'll see you guys there. So Beth, how do you go about assessing a homeowner's skill level on whether or not the DIY route makes sense for them?
I think everybody needs to start small. We never came out of the womb running, right?
Yep.
We had to learn to walk. So the same thing applies. You need to start with some of those small, easy tasks. Learn how to use those tools properly. Like, again, the drill skills. That's why I hope people will come to the seminar. It's learning how to use the tools before you try to tackle big things. Because if you don't know how to use the right tool, you're never going to get anywhere on your project. So start small, start with some of the design, decorating, some of the outdoor projects, things that don't require a lot of the big tools, and then you can kind of work your way up.
I think to your point earlier too, the YouTube videos are very beneficial when it especially comes to just learning how to properly use tools.
Yes.
From a luxury remodeling perspective, how can hiring a pro actually save a homeowner money in the long run? Because I know the goal of DIY is typically to save money on a project, but have you ran into it in the past where a DIY project is actually costs the homeowner more money in the long run?
Absolutely. I've had many students that have made messes and they've had to bring in the pros, and I always say you can try things, again, we start small and you put up the white flag and surrender and say, I need to bring in somebody that has more skills or time. What I find is people are often unprepared with their skill set, or they're unprepared with their time. And I think part of that is to blame on the TV shows. The TV shows that are like, oh, you can renovate your kitchen in a weekend. No, you can't. It's impossible.
It's the death of the home remodeling industry.
I'm telling you. And, you could bring in, 100 people. You can't all be in the same space. There's only so many hours a day. So I think bringing in a pro is beneficial when you do have those larger projects because they understand the scope. They know the right products. They know how to space out in terms of the project timeline. And they're realistic when they say this whole renovation is going to take 8 weeks. It is going to take 8 weeks. And it's going to take you 8 months. If you don't have the right skills. So there are absolutely times when it's going to save you money because of the skill set, the time, and also them knowing the codes. So you don't have an issue like my parents whose bedroom almost ended up in the living room because they didn't know what they were doing in that wall. Now, I want to build a closet in my attic over my garage, have a master walk-in closet. I can physically do the work. I don't know the full scope of the code and the requirements and the architectural requirements because I know that I need to put a beam in the garage ceiling. Like I know all that. I don't know all the details. So, I know we were going to talk about, those partial projects when you split it.
Leads into the next question of, is there a time where it makes sense to partner with a general contractor or another professional where you handle parts of the job and they handle maybe the larger portions of it? And how do you make sure that kind of experience goes smoothly?
Yeah, well, it depends on how that timeline plays out. Who's doing the before, the middle, or the latter part of the project?
Setting clear expectations sounds like it's going to be very important.
Yes.
Whatever route you decide.
Yeah, like we even hired, carpeting is not a DIY project. You don't put in your own carpet. These guys are pros and you have to be physically in shape to lay carpet, but you can pull up your own carpet. You can prep that floor, for hardwood.
Demoing your own house is a fun part.
Yeah, you can do the demo. Absolutely. And so you can do those things. I have, on occasion, I've helped people do partial bathroom and kitchen renovations that they've hired the pro to come in, move walls, redo electric, redo plumbing, but they have installed the cabinets themselves. Then you bring in the pro for the granite. And then maybe you do your own backsplash. So there are pieces of it based on your own skill set and time that you can piecemeal.
Yeah. I always joke the most expensive project you're ever going to do is the one you're going to have to do twice.
Absolutely.
So make sure you do your homework before completely taking on a DIY, getting 75% of the way there, running into an issue, and now you have to start all over because you weren't up to code, or you're messing with something that may have been structural, and now you're kind of ripping everything out and starting from the beginning again. But I think you brought up a good point earlier about there's a lot of things out there as far as TV shows and things you see on Instagram and TikTok of, look how easy it is to remodel my laundry room or my bathroom. And they make it look like they chop up the video in such a way where it looks like they did it over a long weekend, which is not always the case. So what's kind of your take on that?
Well, it really is misleading to a lot of homeowners. And I think it just sets them up to fail. Part of my biggest complaint with these shows is that all they are is fluff. It's inspiration and it's eye candy. So few of those shows actually show anybody a skill. It used to be this old house.
It's a lot of before and after.
Yes.
Right?
It's And this old house was one of those shows that actually showed people how to do things. You know, it was a PBS show. I created my own pilot, 8 years ago now, and we pitched it to HGTV. And we were told that it was too educational. Go figure. Because we didn't have all the fluff. We actually had a family that I was teaching how to lay LVP flooring. And because of that, so that bothers me on the shows. And even on Pinterest and Instagram, it's so quick, but are you really giving anybody a skill? Are you really helping them, or are you just there for clicks?
No, it's more so, I think, the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
It's a nicely edited video, and especially HGTV. They like to show the before and after and the finished product and make it all pretty. That's why people watch it.
Yeah.
But I think it'd go a long way for a lot of these either networks or some of these accounts to really focus on the educational piece.
Right.
Just because, again, that's what people are looking for. You know?
Yeah. And they really need it. I think about, the single mom who's out there, who's watching these shows and needs to make that improvement in her house for cleanliness and safety and quality of living, but she doesn't have any skill set. That's kind of what prompted me to do this, was just trying to help women be able to elevate them in their knowledge, their skills, and their guts to tackle some of these things.
So how do you go about empowering women to start their first DIY project? What's that first step look like?
What's the first step look like? I think it's about identifying what's a priority in terms of what do you need to get done versus what you want to get done. Like that laundry room makeover, that would be great, but you have a leak under the bathroom sink. So let's deal with the leak rather than the pretty project. Yeah. And I tell people, take a paper and pen, walk around your house and make a list of all the things by room that you think need attention. And then you go back and you decide, is this a need or a want? And then you have to look at, do I have the skills, the tools, and the time? And figure out how you can manage those things and what you can DIY versus what you need to bring in the pros. And I literally have my own list hanging in our kitchen cabinet as to what are the couple hour things that I just need to say, I'm going to do this today, versus this is going to be a weekend or a 2-weekend project, like repainting the kitchen, versus I need the pro, which is repour my front sidewalk that I want to rip out, rebuild my, closet over the garage. And this gives you ability to say, this is what I can handle and this is what I need to bring in pros for.
Very cool. All right, and Beth, I see you brought something with you today. What do we got
in
the box?
I did. Over the years in teaching DIY and doing DIY, I have been very frustrated by the lack of tool belts on the market for women. And there are so many belts out there that are built for men. They're thick, they're heavy before you put a tool in, and they're all brown and kind of ugly. So I wanted to create a tool.
They're not very stylish and cool.
They're not stylish. So I created something called the Handy Hipster. And the Handy Hipster is a tool belt, tool apron for women. Men can certainly wear it. I didn't make it girly. But the idea is that it gives women purpose, power, and confidence. And it is made of denim. It is made in the USA, actually, by a all-female work crew, which is very cool.
Where are they based out of?
Colorado.
Very nice.
And we have 15 pockets.
Wow.
It's got all kinds of pockets on it, but we also have a glove clip for gloves or rag if you're working. We have a little valuables pocket, so if you have your earbuds or your jewelry and you want to tuck it away. I even have a pocket for chapstick because we need our lipstick or chapstick, girls.
Can never have too much chaps.
Absolutely. Here we've got a tape loop. So you're working with painter's tape, or you're changing an electrical outlet. You've got electrical tape. It's right at your hip. It's hanging. And then my favorite part of all is a magnetic pocket.
Oh, that's perfect.
So not only is it just a magnet on the outside that you can stick your drill bits or screws to, but the back is lined.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've been standing on a chair with a drill and you drop a screw.
Where does it go?
Goes down to the floor and
In the vent.
Into the vent, and
Yeah.
then you're cursing under your breath, trying not to wake up the baby. So I've been
Yeah,
there before. So
exactly.
That's genius.
So yeah, that's my handy hipster tool belt, and it's really designed for women so that they can be able to get those projects done, be organized, keep track of their things, and feel confident doing it. So it's kind of like a cape but an apron.
All right, guys, that concludes today's episode of Elevate and Renovate podcast. Beth, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can the people find you?
Thank you for having me, Mike. I can be found at DIYHipChicks.com and handyhipster.com.
Perfect. And if you like today's episode, please make sure that you like, follow, subscribe. You can also follow LBK Design Build on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like the opportunity to learn more about the DIY, you can attend the ladies seminar with Beth Allen on October 18th right here at the LBK Design Center. Again, it's going to be October 18th from 11:30 to 1:30. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Until next time.
Together with our experienced designers, we will design your space with confidence. Using high-end 3D design technology, we open your eyes to stunning possibilities. Our designers curate a captivating mix of selections for you to choose from based on your style and budget. Our entire design build process takes place under one roof, providing a simple, stress-free experience from start to finish. Remodel with confidence, having access to our web-based project management tool that tracks your remodel's progress. We'll present potential options for your project. We'll focus on space planning at this point and finalize your dream layout. Ready to get a glimpse of your dream space? LBK Design Build. Dream it, build it, love it.